Hello, chat. And that's a good point. Imagine knowing that you're streaming. Well, may as well pull up chat on my PC. Alright, real quick, let me cook. Put myself over here. And then add. Is Twitch chat in my existing? No. Wait, chat. Alright, now what I do is I click this for that chat. Like that. Do that. Okay. Well, Twitch.tv. Dr. Wiki. Okay, chat, there it is. Copy that. And replace that with its link. And surprise, surprise, now we have chat. Why is chat so wide? Fuck this thing, man. With 200. Height 800. Oh no, we can make it a little wider. 100. It's alright. Height 200. There we go. 250. Height 300. There we go. How do I close that, for fuck's sake? I can't like interact with it. Which cat overlay? You know what I'm gonna do? Rather than doing that, I'll just take this one. Delete this source. Then I'll just open this on my browser. Then stream to you guys that browser. Uh, window capture, Opera, and there we go, Twitch chat, Magic, etc. Let's do that, and then do that. Let me just put this on the side here. Then I'm getting pinged. How do I crop this? Oh, I'll just put like out of frame. There we go. I'll just do it like that. There we go. Hold up, hold up. I'm cooking. There we go. What are these clips on my channel, bro? I have clips, and why are they there? Who's pinging me? Cat Gaming Call. Okay. So, if anyone wants, like, come and chat with me, yeah, that would be nice. So I'm just sitting here waiting for viewers. W stream. Thanks. That's a good first time chatter. Hello, Sunny. I don't know, go ahead and like ask me questions about my life. Do I always do mukbang streams? Define mukbang. Eating on stream, yeah? Little chopped up bits of hot dog. Do you speak England? Do I speak English? Yes, I speak English. Do I speak British? No, but people tell me that I sound British. Yes, I'm Australian. I mean, like, it's kind of cringe because you're not saying it like out loud, and also because it's fucking 10 p.m. I'm not screaming oi 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 at 10 p.m. But like, you see, this is a very enclosed apartment. The walls they're very thin, and my neighbors are a bunch of, well, there you go. As long as you're not asking me to, like, scream it or yell it. Tell me a kangaroo story of yours. Unfortunately, I do not have many. Uh, the closest I've been to a kangaroo is when I went down to Melbourne to see my cousins. It was just at this, like, one of those parks that you normally build in like a city, those children's parks, or just at the back there, hopping along. Okay, thanks for the voice, honey. You're welcome, Markiplier. That's crazy. Are you a licensed doctor? No. Oh my god. I am not a licensed doctor. I do have a bit of knowledge in that industry, though. I could actually sign up to become a first aid responder in the state of New South Wales. PhD? None. Basically, all I do is I sit at home and I advocate against the Department of Education because they're a bunch of idiots. Like, here's the logic I came up with. All the smart people are working in better industries because the Department of Education doesn't pay the teachers good enough. So if all the smart people are working in the better jobs, what does that make the teachers? Idiots. Yeah, some of them have good intentions. Some of them, just want to harass children. But at the end of the day, if you're dumb and you know you're dumb, just don't teach. And as a side of that, gave us crossword puzzles for tests. That's actually a better teaching method than you might think. Because in a crossword puzzle, you're innately thinking about the word. and related words, and the brain will put those words together. It's still better than going in a classroom, the teacher going in a classroom and saying, "Here's a sheet, have fun. Here's a textbook, you have to answer questions and blah to blah, have fun." Which is what the teachers nowadays do, because they're too dumb to teach. You guys have like any other questions about my life? Oh, one vote. They both left. Okay. Let's see. Two viewers! Look, Kevin's watching my stream. That's great. Why are you on my stream, bro? Do you guys want me to play a game? Mag on Twitch. Thank you for following, Mag. How are you? You guys want me to like play a game or something? Surely you guys are like bored of watching me. Yeah, I'm good as well. What can I play? What can I play without OBS recording lagging out like my entire ass game? It's literally none of my games. None of my games said, nah, no, I can do like Rocket League or something. I don't know. I'm just as bored as you guys are, don't worry. But I don't think anyone wants to watch me program. Do you have any questions about me, Mag? Do you have like this is the point of what I'm doing right now. Just like, answering random people's questions about my life. Why am I so small? Rocket League is loading. I wonder if Kevin's still on my stream. Too bad someone for like Department of Education representatives aren't watching. I'd love to be flaming those people right now. I wonder what words I have to say to like trigger that. To trigger them to come visit my stream. Holy lag. Rocket League.
If the times all changed and the games we played went away for the day, but you hated me for everything. Yeah, I would do it all again if the clock restarted, knowing it'll end with us broken hearted. We could both pretend I'm in love with someone new, someone just like you. Someone just like you.
I'm good at saying.
You with him, but you keep blowing up my line like I'm with you again.
I swear I
Keep on lying to yourself about everything we've been through. It'd be cool.
It's not obvious I'm good at essaying. So what was it? Circuit of G. Circuit of G. Oh shit! I have 4 viewers. That's crazy. Just stay on topic.
Someone just like you. It's great, trying to save myself, but I can't find a way. Where did you go?
Should I get nuked? I really am not good. fat was what? Just hitting a little. Did I not hit that? What's that out? Nice. Oh man. It's a good time. Not often that I see. I think yesterday was also a good time. Oh, I ain't no way to get that. Crazy. Oh my god, they actually got that. That's nuts. IG. Oh, why do I have so many viewers? That's not much. Why is my hand? Okay. comp as well. Division down. Oh, because I teammate AFK and I went a division down. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Oh, that's going in for sure. That's going in. Plus 50 points for hat trick. Go, hit it in. No! That's actually that is dumb. Oh, they forfeit! Oh, what? Oh, that's crazy. Oh. I didn't expect them to do that. You know what? Yo. Wonder if this team goes through. Probably will. What is my ping? 300. I just got loaded into a lobby on the other side of the world. Epic games, guys. Look at the ball. Just smacking it, yeah. Doing the thing, yeah. stand that guy. No. That's crazy. I don't need free viewers. I'm not a streamer. Where are you hitting the ball? Where am I hitting the ball? Where is the ball going? All important questions that need to be answered. Oh shit. Hey man, let's go. I don't know what just happened. Let's check Discord. I think I'm looking at Discord. Good, surely one of my deletions does. A, you're for win. Because we're like, I'm such a good book at this game. But it's like bad at the game. What's this guy for? $350. Fucking game. Alright, what do you guys want me to do? Is there anything in particular? You need to enter 7 TVDS. What's 7 TVDS? How do I pass it? What? What am I looking at?
Word up, beat it up.
Hold on. Let me think it. Gee, let me. Yeah, you can deny it, but I'm just gonna quickly screenshot this shit. Oh my god! This is peak. Hold on. Okay, now I'm screenshotting this. I put that in there. I right click, save image. I save it to my downloads. It's fun because they won't appear on Twitch. True. You can only do that shit on YouTube. Let me show you guys something. By the way, there were 2 of these messages on 2 different accounts. IDK baby, she's cute. Oh my god. Slash ban MR underscore SBN. Well, it's not banning that one. And then we'll also ban the alt account. I mean, like, if you want to go check her out, sure, but it's probably a scam. I don't know many girls named Martin Venieri. Alright, let's go search this guy up on YouTube. I have found content, ladies and gentlemen. I have acquired the content. Hold on, let me like ream my this. It takes the best man to become the best girl. Oh my god. What am I reading? Oh, there's chat. Let's Google this guy. I mean, like, as far as I can tell, this is probably just like softcore porn. Oh, there we go. Found you. And we're turning that off. Okay, alright. She's literally advertising her body on my stream. Hint, don't do that. Ayaya. Get up, 17. Oh. Can I give you like 10? How do I do that? Honestly, so hands, you know how to do this?
I like it when my chords move dramatically in. The body doesn't quite like me. I like it when my chords move dramatically in. The body doesn't quite like me.
Okay, there you go, I gave you all the notes, have fun. I know, you can sit there. Next, what's the TV song is? Better GTV.
I like it when my chords move chromatically. Nobody doesn't quite like me. I like it when my chords move chromatically. Chromatically. I like it when my chords move chromatically. Nobody doesn't quite like me. I like it when my chords move chromatically. Chromatically. Chromatically.
You know what? Oh, yeah, why is it black? I swear to God it was like capturing it like not a moment ago. What the fuck? Why is it not capturing my game? No, I'll just do like window capture or something. No, it doesn't. And the game's about to start. Yeah. My stream froze. It is black. Hold up, how do I fix this? Name capture. You know what? Here you go. Display capture. This other one. My display's just off. Why is it? Oh, I'm a dumbass. That's why. No, it's not what. Oh, it is what. I'm at 300 feet. Why can't I have the minimum graphics. I was really fucked up. Alright, is that better? I literally went. No, it's still low. Hold on. Hold on, let me try and listen to myself. Testing. Oh, testing. Even wanted to cut time oh, that is the wrong output. This is the right one. Okay. Da, 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 da. How many decibels? I could say that like, 20 decibels. Is that alright? Sound good to you? Is 20 decibels good? I don't know, you guys could like tell me if something's wrong with it. It is at 20 decibels. I feel like some of you guys are gonna like start contracting hearing damage. Oh, you know what we can do? I can actually do like geometry dash if you. Well, I'll try and run brain. That's what I'll do. I shall try and play Valor. That's what I'll do. People, please. Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play Valorant. Oh yeah, I do have a GT620. I tried to stream Valorant before, even on like, you know, what's it called? SLR or whatever. And I tried to do it with like game capture and it like stumbles between 60 and 50 frames and it's really annoying because the jittering makes the frame rate actually like 20 rather than like, you know, 60 to 50. It's like normally really smooth. Actually, you know, I'm actually from now. Why don't we like wait for you know, let me leave? That sounds like a good idea. Let's trade someone. I didn't even know why I started streaming today. Probably because I was bored. Uh, and as usual, the only person that I would raid that's live is Siren, so we are going to raid Siren. Raid Siren. There we go, have fun. I'm out.